We're live out here at Woodland Cemetery, arguably one of the creepiest cemeteries in Quincy. It is the oldest maintained cemetery in Quincy, and we're just less than a week away from Halloween. We're going to show you a little bit about the tombstones here at Woodland, and we're also going to introduce you to this guy, James B. Cahill, coming up next.
We're doing a little ghost busting ourselves. We're not. Lindsay Boach is live at Woodland Cemetery this morning in Quincy. Oh, I hope she's going to show us who that is, and that's not her. Fact. Anyway, here she is at Woodland.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I'm just amazed at how many different types of tombstones there are here. Like I said earlier, this is the oldest cemetery, but it actually started out at Jefferson Square, where the Adams County Courthouse is now. So that's kind of cool. Then they moved it over to Madison Park, and then John Wood purchased this piece of land on 5th and Jefferson, back in 1846. So a little bit of history for you there. And along with these, I mean, there's big tombstones, small tombstones. This is one of the larger ones in the area that we're in, and it belongs to James B. Cahill. And I'm joined right now by Rich Kempner, and you play him, correct?
I sure do.
And explain a little bit about his story.
He was living in Carthage at the time the Civil War began in 1861. When Lincoln called for 75,000 volunteers to put down the rebellion, he saw the need to join up, so he came down here to Quincy and enlisted in the 16th Illinois Volunteer Infantry, which was being organized right across the street here.
And he died very soon after. He was on his way to Chicago, correct?
Well, he served through the war, then mustered out on December 25th, Christmas Day in Savannah, Georgia. 1864, came home to Western Illinois. Then when he was 35 years old, business trip to Chicago, and died in a hotel room there.
And now we were talking earlier, and he actually died of, was it morphine overdose?
Yes, when he went to Chicago, back then you could legally have morphine in your possession. So he got checked into the hotel in Chicago, could not get to sleep, thought he'd take some morphine that'd help him relax. Well, he got to sleep all right, eternal sleep. So
now explain a little bit about the tours that you guys have going on here.
This is sponsored by the Gardner Museum of Architecture and Design. This will be our 21st annual tour. It's going to happen November 1st, day after Halloween, starting that afternoon. People can sign up for tours beginning about 4:30. We do have most openings around the dinner hour, 6:30, 7:30, that time.
All right, sounds great. We're going to check back with you a little bit later. November 1st is also All Saints Day. It's in the Mexican heritage. It's El Dia de los Muertos. It's very celebrated. They celebrate the life and death of all of their family members and friends. So if you want to come out, we'll give you more information here coming up later on in the show. Guys.
All right. Thank you, Lindsay. Dias de los Muertos, I think, is Day of the Dead.
Yes, and the wind is starting to pick up. We're out here at Woodland Cemetery live this morning, talking a little bit about history of the cemetery and about the neat tombstones that they have here. This here looks like a tree. We're going to explain what that means coming up next.
Kind of a creepy image there out of Port Charles in Columbus, Georgia. It's their shipyard there, but it just happens to be kind of dark and foggy. And
goes right along with the X-Files.
Billy Ray Cyrus claims he's seen a UFO.
I wondered how long it would take.
Well, it has happened. We're going to talk with Kayla and Brian, a different Brian. Brian Miles on vacation this week, so we're going to talk to them here in just a bit. In the meantime, we're still getting into the Halloween spirit. Less than a week away now.
We do.
Lindsay Boach is out at Woodland Cemetery in Quincy. She's not alone, though.
Thank goodness.
Lindsay, how are you hanging out there at the cemetery?
I'm doing good, guys. And actually, the way that our lights were set up, there was a breeze and some leaves blew by, and then I saw my own shadow and got a little scared. So I was officially scared by my own shadow. I know, yes, thankfully. But we looked at this right before the break. This is Aldo B. Summers' tombstone, and it's a tree. Right next to it is a little part of a tree. There's some tree tombstones here. But what we've learned is that, they're cut off because it signifies death. So obviously we're in a cemetery. Obviously Aldo Summer died in 1879. Next to him is Aldo Summer, I'm assuming his son. So probably the second. And he was born in 1830. So, good time frame here. And Matilda Summer actually lived to be 95 years old, which is pretty cool. Usually you don't hear a lot about people living too long. back in the olden days. And these little tombstones we're thinking that they probably belong to children. There's Mary, Annie, they just have names on them. So a lot of cool different types of tombstones out here, and even bigger ones like this one. You can see this one's really big. On it, it says infant son, so I'm assuming it's for a family. Now they do tombstone or cemetery tours here at Woodland Cemetery, and that's going to be on Tuesday. And one of the characters that is played is James B. Cahill, and I'm joined right now by Rich Kempner, who plays James B. Cahill. Explain a little bit about the dress that but your outfit that you're wearing.
Well, thank you for not calling it a costume.
Yes.
They're period, you're close. We call period dress. And we try to be as accurate as possible. Now, even though Lieutenant Colonel Cahill, he was in the infantry rather than the cavalry, the officers, even in the infantry, would wear a uniform similar to this. Since he's an officer, he wouldn't be marching like the infantry troopers. He'd be riding a horse. Therefore, you have the tall boots, the spurs. All the clothing is wool, which can be very hot in the summer, but that's what they had to wear.
Or very comfortable for right now.
Feels real good this morning, yes. The wool trousers, of course, they didn't have any zippers or anything, so the fly's all buttons. And then you can't see them, but it's held up with suspenders. And then this on top is called a greatcoat. And then under the greatcoat, you have what they call a shell jacket. And then under that, just a cotton shirt.
Very intricate. And you also have a sword with you.
Yeah, now the sword, the swords were more ceremonial than anything else, carried by the officers, kind of a respect for their rank. The sabers were used more to give directions to the troops, this way, that way. There weren't any big sword fights or saber fights in the Civil War. The infantry troopers, they'd carry the big heavy muskets. Being an officer, I would just carry the pistol.
All right. Very interesting, and we're going to come back to you here in a little bit later, too. All of these tombstones are very, very cool. The wind's blowing. It's kind of cool out, and every once in a while, I think I hear something. There's actually at a gravesite over there, a flag that keeps flapping in the wind that every time I look over there scares me because I think something's moving. But it's just my mind playing tricks on me.
Stop looking in that direction. That will solve that.
I'll try.
Our curiosity is piqued, though.
All right. Thanks, Lindsay.
Well, something I never thought that I would ever say. I'm hanging out at a cemetery. Right here is the family plot of the Mellons, and we're going to take a look at this and talk a little bit more about how you can come tour the cemetery coming up next.
Hello, Reggie. This is Peggy's Cove in Nova Scotia. Look in there, and speaking of cartoon characters, CNN News Source, I'm not joking, has just tweeted that Elmo is weighing in on the turmoil in Congress. He says, quote, lawmakers should have more playdates. Serious, CNN says it.
Creeped out right now. Lindsay, if she only knew what was going on here, she might feel a little bit more safe out of the cemetery.
Getting creeped out and playing around. Woodland Cemetery.
Or should I say, Elmo, I can hear you just fine. I'm at Woodland Cemetery, and one of my favorite songs, music videos, short movies, whatever you want to call it, is Thriller. And I keep expecting that to happen, but it hasn't yet. Not that I would like it to happen, but I keep expecting that to happen. Bodies coming up out of the ground, which I know obviously won't happen. But here's some more little gravestones. This is the Mellons plot right here, it looks like. Lucy, kind of hard to, W.J. Mellon, a lot of different interesting types of tombstones, and they come with a lot of different history too. There's so much history in here. John Wood is actually buried here at Woodland Cemetery, and behind me, I don't know how well you can see, but this cemetery isn't a flat cemetery like most of the regular cemeteries are now. There's lots of hills and ravines, and you can see right over to the Mississippi River as well. We're going to go back now to John B. Cahill, who is actually played by Rich Kempner, and we're going to talk a little bit about the tours that are coming up there this Tuesday.
Yes, a week from today, November 1st, starting at about 4:30. $5 for adults, $3 for children. But they get with that the free ticket to get into the Gardner Museum. So in a way, it doesn't cost them anything.
And now, what will they, when they come out here, what will they see? What will they be exposed to?
Okay. They will meet with a guide over at the entrance to the cemetery, and so it's a guided tour, and they'll walk around the cemetery. Now, like you said, there's a lot of hills. They don't have to be concerned about that because the tour zeroes in on just one section of the cemetery, and the guide will take them to about 20 different grave sites, tell them about who's buried there, and then at about 5 or 6 of the grave sites there will be a reenactor like myself who will portray the person who's buried at that site.
And now, what is your favorite part about doing all of this?
I think just the idea of getting to dress up like a soldier in the Civil War at my age and just go back and be a big kid.
And now, this is your first year doing this?
This is my first year, yes.
Any nerves, excitement, anything?
No, I think I've gone over my script about 1,000,000 times, so I feel pretty good about it. So I don't know how I'm going to do when I get an audience in front of me, but hopefully it'll go well.
Well, you did fine about an hour ago when you talked about being John B. Cahill. Now, the tours start, like you said, next Tuesday, a week from today, from 4:30 to 7:30. And are 20-minute tours? How long are the tours?
Oh, no, they take about an hour, actually, because you're visiting 20 different grave sites. So, but they leave every 15 minutes.
Okay, that's what it is. They leave every 15 minutes. The time space that they have, the least amount of people is from 6 to 7. So if you want to come out here, give them a call, 224-6873. Again, 224-6873, and you can get your reservation for next Tuesday, All Saints Day, also El Dia de los Muertos El Dia de los Muertos in the Mexican tradition. They celebrate the saints, celebrate the life and the death of all people who have once roamed the earth.
Gracias, Lindsay. Very nice. Learn all kinds of stuff
Thanks.
in any cemetery. And I'm so glad that they give the tours, because you can wander around a cemetery and wonder, what's the story? But you're actually getting tours. So
You're getting a tour, you're getting the story, and you're getting somebody that's in, a formal dress. I think it's pretty cool. I'm going to check it out.
all right.